Munich Olympics tragedy, 1972. Prologue. The 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, West Germany, were meant to be a celebration of international unity and athletic excellence. This was the first time Germany had hosted the Olympics since the infamous 1936 Berlin Games, and the nation was eager to showcase a new, modern, and peaceful image to the world. Under the motto, "The Happy Games," the event aimed to present a stark contrast to the darkness of the past. The calm before the storm. The Olympic Village in Munich was a microcosm of the world, teeming with athletes from all corners of the globe. Security, though present, was relatively relaxed, in keeping with the spirit of openness and friendliness that the organizers wished to convey. Among the participants was the Israeli delegation, consisting of 11 athletes, coaches, and officials who were eager to compete and prove themselves on the world stage. September 5, 1972. In the early hours of September 5, 1972, as the athletes were asleep in their quarters, a group of 8 members of the Palestinian terrorist organization, Black September, scaled the fence surrounding the Olympic Village. Disguised as athletes and carrying duffel bags filled with weapons, they made their way to 31 Connollystrasse, the building housing the Israeli team. The attackers burst into the apartments, taking 11 Israeli hostages. In the chaos, wrestling coach Moshe Weinberg and weightlifter Yosef Romano attempted to resist and were killed. The remaining 9 Israelis were bound and held captive as the terrorists made their demands clear. The release of 234 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails, along with 2 German radicals. The siege. The world watched in horror as the crisis unfolded on live television. Negotiations between the terrorists and German authorities were tense and protracted. The attackers showed their willingness to kill by throwing the body of Moshe Weinberg out of the apartment to demonstrate their seriousness. As the day dragged on, the terrorists agreed to a plan to be flown out of Germany with their hostages. German authorities hastily devised a rescue operation at the Fürstenfeldbruck Air Base, where 2 helicopters would transport the hostages and terrorists to awaiting planes. The rescue attempt. The rescue plan was fraught with miscalculations and insufficient preparation. German snipers were positioned around the airbase, but they were inadequately trained for such a mission and lacked proper equipment. When the helicopters landed at the airbase, chaos ensued. The terrorists quickly realized it was a trap, and a firefight broke out. In the ensuing confusion, a grenade was thrown into one of the helicopters, igniting a fire that killed all hostages inside. The remaining hostages in the second helicopter were shot by the terrorists. By the end of the ordeal, all 11 Israeli hostages, along with 5 of the 8 terrorists and a German police officer, were dead. Aftermath and legacy. The Munich massacre shocked the world and cast a long shadow over the Olympics. The Games were suspended for 24 hours as a memorial service was held for the victims. Despite calls for the complete cancellation of the Games, they resumed, albeit under a cloud of mourning and heightened security. The Munich tragedy highlighted the vulnerability of international events to terrorist attacks and led to significant changes in how such events were secured. For Israel, the massacre was a painful reminder of the ongoing threat of terrorism, and it spurred the government to initiate Operation Wrath of God, a covert campaign to track down and eliminate those responsible for the attack. The 1972 Munich Olympics will forever be remembered not just for the athletic achievements and moments of triumph, but for the terrible act of violence that took place and the innocent lives that were lost in a senseless act of terror.